Finally, we're live. How is everybody doing? I hope we can get a 5x5 to get this show on the road. We've had a few technical issues. So whilst we got 150 people in the chat. Pays to be a bit late then. Gives everyone a chance to get in. John from Wales, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. It looks like you can see and hear me. We did have some issues on the previous live stream about all of the visual being a bit glitchy. I'm also trying something different today. It's weird. I can see myself twice on the screen. And in fact, two live streams went up. One is for when you go on your phone, that way around, which does my head in because our eyes are this way. Why the hell would anyone want to freaking invert their phone that way? It blows my mind, and it's crazy. Anyway, that's my own opinion on that crap. So yeah, if you're watching on your mobile and you're looking at it that way, then you probably just see my face from what I can see anyway. So yes, that's all good in the hood. So that's all well and good. If you're watching on anything other than a phone, or you turn it that way, you'll probably see it like normal. So yes, it is what it is. And it's strange because it's a new thing. Let me know if you guys like the phone format that way, or do you want me to do like I always used to do? Anyway, we've got 250 people in the live stream right now. Listen, guys, if you're new to the channel, and we've had 7,000 new subscribers in 3 weeks now, which is crazy, make sure you're notified, because if you're not going to get a chance to be in the live stream like the 260 people are right now. Okay, and I've chose it to be open to non-subscribers as well, okay, because there's new people joining all the time. The channel has gone mental. So yeah, it is what it is. So what are we looking at? The UK is collapsing for real, and I've just put a poll up wanting to know your thoughts on this. And if you guys stay to the end, I've got, I believe, a really good idea of how we can make massive change to all of this starting from January. So please, make sure that you stick to the end. So if you're watching on the replay, don't miss out the end. I'm not joking. It's an awesome idea. I've not heard of anyone else come up with this idea. I've thought about it long and hard, and I think this may work, but it needs a lot of people to take part, which is why I'm releasing this information now, which is symbolic. It's the 11th of the 11th. And as a veteran, I hope all of you guys chose to do at least 1 minute silence today in respect of our fallen soldiers of past. Okay. So, yes, it's been quite a day, actually. So let's get into it, shall we? I want to come out of the chat because from my point of view, it's really off-putting. So we're going to talk about one of the main reasons why I believe that we are in a slow collapse. One of the big things which I believe is affecting all of us, let me know in the live and in the comment section if you agree with this, is the cost of living, how expensive things are. Okay, now I believe that all or most of us are struggling financially. Let me know if you are. I certainly am. And it's been really hard off the back of the police arrest, but that's another story. Now, one of the reasons behind this issue that lots of people are struggling financially is inflation. Okay, so I want to show you on the screen something quite alarming, actually. I want you guys to check this out. This is the world debt. And as you can tell, it's live. And this is the 11th of November, 2025. And it's currently at 20 to 8 in the evening, UK time. I'm just going to click back to see what this looks like. Portrait mode looks rubbish. I don't think I'm going to be doing that again. Right, anyway. Yes. So as you can tell, we're number 6. It says the population is 69 million, which I think is absolute bullshit. I believe the population of the UK to be at least 80 million with the amount of people, tourists now in the country. And if you look at it, it's just insane. The national debt, 4.28 trillion. That's dollars, by the way. It's not pound, okay? So it's going to appear more than what it is because of the price difference. And we are not alone. You can just scroll down and you can tell all of the debts of all of the countries around the world. Pretty staggering, I'm sure you'd agree. But look at Russia. That's not even $500 billion. Crazy. So that is a little quick look of how much the planet is in debt, which I'm sure you'd agree, it makes some interesting reading, okay? I'm going to close that screen down. So the weird thing is, if I can find it, right. Right. Let me see if I can find this. I don't know why, but I had that bookmarked earlier, but it vanished. I've just literally got it back. Now, this is quite interesting because when you look at all of the countries around the world that are in debt, especially in the UK, look at the countries that are not part of the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Okay. Just goes to show Cuba and North Korea, Liechtenstein, Vatican City. Now, there's a bit of an eye-opener. I'm sure some of you guys who are aware in this aware prepping community, you would know all about that anyway. Other non-members, Liechtenstein, Monaco, and Taiwan. Okay, all of these countries are not in debt or under the thumb of the IMF. Bit of food for thought there. Okay, so going back to the UK, about the inter-struggles that we are facing. Right. This I thought was quite interesting. So first, before we go into that, is councils in the UK that have gone bankrupt. Now, I touched upon this. I mentioned it was 5 at the time. I've done this a couple of years ago now, and I've gone through all of the counties in the UK and I've dated them as well. So 99% of all of these have happened since 2020, which is what I've been saying. Since 2020, lots of things have changed. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't believe we're going to go back pre-2020 lifestyles, etc. Okay. So Birmingham, September 2023, officially was bankrupt. Northampton, this was in 2018. That's the only one that happened first. Croydon, 2020, went bankrupt. Slough, 2021, bankrupt. Woking, 2023, bankrupt. Nottingham, 2023, bankrupt. Thurrock, wherever that is, 2022, bankrupt. Now, there are many other counties within the UK who are very close, apparently, to being served Section 114 notices from head government. If you don't know what that means, I went for it before in our live streams, but basically they have auditors that go into accounts of individual councils, and if there's certain discrepancies or shortfalls based upon incomings and outgoings, they are served a 114 section notice, which basically means not long after that period of time, they are officially declared bankrupt. So expect a lot more counties to be officially bankrupt, especially going up to 2030. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. What county are you in? Do you pay any attention to council politics of anything in local newspapers or articles of how it's looking financially for your counties where you are? Be interesting to know and to share. Before we get into that, this is quite interesting. Now, when I was doing a bit of research into this morning, I literally went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Well, not literally, but I went down a rabbit hole. Okay, and it's to do with the Bank of England, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, always learning. No one knows it all, including myself, of course. We're all human, and we're all learning at our own speed. So this was quite interesting. Look at this. I typed into Google. Okay, who does the UK owe money to? Okay. The UK owes money to a diverse group of investors. A diverse group of investors. Now, wonder what three-letter agencies they can be, including UK and foreign pension funds, insurance companies, banks, and private households. Wow. The UK owes money to private households. Bizarre. But look at this. Well in there is the Bank of England. And when it says QE, quantitative easing, basically what that means is they literally print more money. Or as we move into the next couple of years, they will literally be creating more money digitally out of thin air. Now, some people speculate that it's going to be crypto-based. Only time will really tell, but that's the word around a campfire, okay? But when we think about the Bank of England, wow. Like I said, guys, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole, okay? So I've mentioned this before. Look at this. So if you go into Companies House, which is like private limited companies, PLCs, and check this out. Look at this. Bank of England is the registered company number, RC quadruple 042, okay? And it's a Royal Charter Company. That is the company type, all right? But it doesn't stop there, all right? Let me just, I've got so many pages open, I've got to close them as I go. But this one here is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. This one, look at this. The Bank of England in the UK. All right. This has been issued. There is the qualification number. The Bank of England, it even gives the address, which we're going to show in a minute. And like we saw, the reg number is correct, and it syncs to what we saw earlier. And the entity status is active. It's going to be a scary time before you see that go red and it says deactivated. My goodness. The Lee number is there. You can copy that and go with what you want. The next renewal date, look at this, the 22nd of March next year. Okay, so we could be seeing some weird things happening around that date when the Bank of England gets renewed. Okay, something to keep an eye on, people. The 22nd of March 2026. Keep your eyes peeled in and around that time, especially leading up to it. So the Bank of England, which is one of the reasons why most of us are in financial stump right now. This, if you haven't seen it already, is what it looks like. A very big, foreboding, mean building, which was refurbished and grew upwards 100 years ago, because it needed more room. And if you don't know, this is actually the center of London. Okay, I think it's 1 square mile right in the middle of London, and this has its own laws, its own police, its own rules, all within this area, which is basically untouchable. Okay, I'm sure you'll agree it's pretty bonkers. And if you look at all of the symbols on there, it's quite intriguing. If any of you guys are into symbology and esoteric things like that, yeah, I am too. So Very, very weird what's been going down in the Bank of England. Okay. And you've only got to do just a little search to have a little mooch. And in fact, there's a video which come out in the 80s, actually inside of a day-to-day running life of the Bank of England. Now, I'm pretty sure that was really thought long and hard about before they decided to let camera crews in there. To my knowledge, one of the only times that has happened. Very, very interesting. I'm sure lots of it was staged anyway, but it gives you a good insight to the architecture and the symbolic nature of inside that very old, very powerful building. Okay. So this is some of the stuff that's going on inside the Bank of England. Okay. Very, very weird Freemasonic symbols. And we can prove that in a minute. Okay. Yeah, the Bank of England is not what you actually think. Okay. It's a very, very sinister group, organization, which has literally been a big part of steering this world financially for a very long time. Underground, there is 3 levels, including vaults, and allegedly that is where the UK's gold is actually stored and held. Okay, so we're going to have a little breakdown of symbols and secrets. It's a very, very light look at symbology from what I'm used to reading up on anyway, but nonetheless we have some very interesting imagery here. And if any of you guys have got the Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, you're going to understand what I'm talking about here. There is significance with a female with one breast exposed on one side, with a boy. If you look, the left of how we look is exposed, and on the right is a female, a girl. Massive symbolic meanings there. And indeed, some of the symbology on the doors as well, with lions, keys. We've got men here literally being punished and struggling, carrying burdens. And we have some very dark things going on in these massive doors. And these are huge, by the way. The human being average is about this high, where these bolts are. Okay, look how big it is. It's huge. See what I mean? The guy's struggling, carrying box with rope around it, surrounded by a circular rope with 4 independent circles. Massive symbolic meaning there. And the same here again, using tools and machinery, labor. We have a ball encirculated. One evil looking line there with big heavy chains. And it just goes on, people. And look at this. Now, Rachel, you'd like this. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, it's this one. How sinister is this? It could be the moon, but I'm not sure. This is the sun, a very old, ancient depiction of the sun. So I'd love to know what you guys think about some of these. We got the Malta Cross, which is, if you don't know, has massive ties to our royal family. And it's not what you think. It really is not what you think. So I'm going to come out of that. Here we go. Back to 100%. Masonic pillars. We've got these depicting medical, which we are seeing these days. But in fact, it means something different with the wings. Serpent wings. Anyway, like I said, I really got lost down a bit of a rabbit hole with that one today. But we are going to get back into the nitty-gritty of it all. I think I'll close that. I was going to play that, but no. Freemasonry, like I said, there was, I'll just close it now. Symbology into beehives. So Scottish Rite Freemasonry on their own website. Okay, the beehive mean in Freemasonry, which was just shown on the Bank of England there. The Masonic beehive symbols hold several key meanings: industry, unity, and structure. It appears in tracing boards, ritual lectures, lodge artwork, and even the naming of certain lodges, such as Beehive Lodge in Maryland in the US. That's number 66, another symbolic number there. It's a message of unity and industriousness remains central to Masonic teachings, especially in the Master Mason degree. Very sinister with the all-seeing eye. The sun and the moon, the two pillars, the grand chessboard, and there we have it, the beehive. Anyway, that was just a quick whistle-stop tour. And if you wanted to see inside that, what I should have done was I should have put a link, but you can go onto YouTube and you can find this video here and just literally type in inside for Bank of England TVS production. TVS, if you don't know, was Television South. This was back in 1988, and this has got all sorts of weird stuff going on in there with lots of symbology, lots of pictures of gold in the vaults, some of the rooms. It doesn't really go into much about some of the architecture inside, but nonetheless, it's these are these doors I was telling you about. Look how big they are. In fact, they go off the top of the screen. And these guys here, the gatekeepers. Anyway, so that's the Bank of England, and that's the guys apparently in charge of the money here in the UK, which is one of the reasons why we have been seeing, like I said earlier, the councils that have gone bankrupt, and there will be more to come over the next couple of years, for sure. So because there's been so much stuck with money, that's been one of the main reasons why we are seeing social decline here in the UK. I'm calling it out as a slow burn collapse, because this sort of notion that lots of preppers fantasize about in a weird way is SHTF. So one day they wake up and everything's gone kaput. Okay, what we are seeing is a slow collapse. Okay, I don't think we're going to wake up one day and everything's going to be riots on the street, police are on strike, there's crime everywhere. I really don't think I can see that happening. But slowly but surely, we are seeing people living in absolute poverty, not just in the UK, but in the Western world. If any of you guys are watching outside of the UK or in the West, Europe or America, maybe even Australia, okay, lots of people are in the same boat. And you go to other places around the world, it's not so bad. Especially Dubai. Dubai seems to be the place to be right now. Okay. In fact, I don't know if it's true. If any of you guys are watching from America, there was something that I saw on a YouTube short this morning, or was it early this afternoon, saying that Donald Trump is encouraging citizens from the UK to move to America. Whether it's just BS or it's true, I don't know. It's just what I saw. And I didn't have time really to look into it. I'm just putting it out there to see if you guys know whether that's factual or BS. Okay. So in the UK, theft, apparently, according to the ONS, the Office of National Statistics, which is always below the target. They are saying up till, I can't remember, I think it was September this year, that they're saying crime or theft in the UK is up to 530,000 reported incidences of crime or theft. Now, why are people stealing? Because people are struggling. People are being laid off of their jobs, etc. Crime is going through the roof. Shoplifting. Well, if any of you guys have been following my YouTube shorts I've been putting up lately, there's a few tailored towards shoplifting in the UK. And one of the latest ones is these great big barriers before you enter the dreaded, ridiculous, dystopian self-checkout system, where you actually weigh your trolley. Yeah, you weigh your trolley with the goods in it. Yeah, so obviously when you're checking your stuff out, self-checkout, everything's weighed and it's all calibrated, added up, etc., etc. I don't know how they're going to police this, but this is being rolled out already. This was literally 3 days ago. This was rolled out in Tesco, so it's pretty much hot news right now. Let me know if you've seen some of these. If you haven't seen my YouTube short, I'll see if I can pull up an image for you so you can see what I mean. Images. Yeah, there we go. Wow, it's all over the internet. It's in Gateshead, apparently. So check this out, boys and girls. This is being rolled out in Tesco's. How bonkers is this? So what you look at this. There it is. These things here, you here we go. Why do they show the small bloody thing now? It used to be really big. I hope it's not one of those frigging cookies things, because I don't do the cookies things. Look at this. See, you push your trolleys onto these scales. Thanks, Mark. You nutcase. Yeah, you push your trolleys onto these, it weighs it, you go in there and you get your face scanned and all of the rest of it. You get all of your stuff. It's just ridiculous. But that's where it's going, people. Right. And just close that down. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Something which I don't think many of us are aware of when I was looking into this. Who's heard of the crime and policing bill? Now, I remember, I think, touched on this, was it early last year when they was literally debating it in Parliament. Now, we're going to see the latest of where that is right now and who's behind it. Okay, so if you don't know what the crime and policing bill is, we're going to be seeing big changes in child safety, sex offences, stuff like that. But moreover, hold on. Hopefully that'll be the end of that. Sorry about that. distractions. But the crime and policing bill, okay. Yvette Cooper, we all have heard about that little evil woman, and we're going to expose her in a sec. Very sinister person, that one. Right. Look at this. Again, this is from data from the ONS, I believe. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Responding to Office of National Statistics that shows shoplifting offences rose by 13% to 530,000 in the year ended in June 2025. Okay. Major issue costing over 2.2 billion a year. That's how crazy it's got in the UK. Now look at this. The crime and policing bill. The bill will remove the £200 threshold for low-level theft. Do you remember back in 2020 when people were literally pushing trolleys out of Waitrose and Sainsbury's and all these places, not paying and not being challenged? Because what happened is the law at the time was saying there was a £200 threshold. So you can legally steal anything up to £200 and you won't be prosecuted. So, of course, what happened? Everyone jumped on that. But the crime and policing bill, which we're going to see now, is going to amend that. Excuse me. So, share screen. This is where it's at right now. Okay. So, look, the crime and policing bill. All right. Last updated today, 9:27 this morning. So when I was reading through this, we noticed the sponsoring department is the Home Office, headed by none other than Yvette Cooper. And we're going to talk about the lovely Yvette Cooper in a minute. Okay. Now, as you can tell, we're literally halfway through this being a reality. They've already squashed the third reading, which is quite rare, actually. So they are adamant of pushing this through fast. Okay. Now, the bill started in the House of Commons. Its first, second reading. It went through community stage. It's got to report stage and gone through. Now we've got to Lords, where it starts to get serious. The first and second reading has already happened. Right now, it's currently at the committee stage. Okay. So after that, when they've debated it all, and there's going to be some toing and froing about this bill, it's going to go to report, maybe a third reading. I'm not sure if they can bunk past it like they did in the Commons, but in the Lords, I suspect they will see it through properly. Then it goes to consideration of amendments, and of course, it's down to King Sausage Fingers to sign via royal assent, just like we saw the online safety bill. Okay, something to keep an eye on, people. If any of you guys are up on law, this one is really worth keeping an eye on. Okay, apparently, from what I understand, the police will be allowed to enter your property without a warrant. Yeah, big shit. And it looks like it's going to be another reality. So yeah, how do you feel about the police coming into your house without a search warrant? Yeah. Labour. How cool is that? Not. So, Yvette Cooper, which we spoke about just now. Look at this. Surprise, surprise. The friggin' evil Fabian Society strikes again. Yvette Cooper, MP, chair of the commission. She's quite high up in the Fabian Society. And she also chaired the Labour Party's Refugee Task Force. Now, that's nice, isn't it? Okay. So Yvette Cooper, nasty bit of work in the Fabian Society. No BS. If you don't know what a Fabian Society is, look into it, people. It is one serious evil organization. And we've got these other players as well. Hassan, what's that? Bakshi, Executive Director, Creative Economy and Data Analytics. Elisa Davis, the Public Policy Manager of Google UK. Lots to do with artificial intelligence, this person. Sue Ferns, my God, look at that hideous monstrosity as a woman. I would even doubt that that's a woman. I would say that's an MDU, a man dressed up right there. What do you think? Deputy General Secretary of Prospect. Nasty. And Paul Nowak, of course, we spoke about before. Now, you can just tell that this guy was a prefect at school. Okay, this guy, sinister. Okay, Deputy General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress. 100% is going to be involved with the anti-protesters, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm talking about. Roy Rickus as well, General Secretary, and Kriti Sharma, Vice President of Artificial Intelligence. Margaret Stevens, Professor of Economics at Oxford University. Blimey. Yes, these people penetrate deep, people. Oxford University, Professor of Economics. Margaret Stevens. Yes, a dedicated member of the Fabian Society. And I've exposed Keir Starmer being there as well. Fabian Society with Tony Blair as well. Big links with the World Economic Forum. You can see this is absolutely all being staged and all set up over time. And it's to do with the World Economic Forum stroke the United Nations, with a bit of sprinkling from the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome, etc. And there's many others too. We haven't got all day to talk about that. But that sort of thing is one of the reasons why this country is in social decline right here, right now. And okay, don't forget, like I said, stay to the end of the live stream where I've got a great idea for a solution to really balls up their plan. So make sure you stick to the end, okay? One of the things which is close to my heart is, oh, bollocks, sorry, bloody Ninja Man. Right, okay. One of the things close to my heart, especially since I moved to Wales like nearly 4 years ago now, is farming. Okay, I'm firmly embedded within the farming community out here, and I've seen it firsthand of the struggles and strives of farming out here in Wales. And I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about some stuff which isn't talked about. Okay, and it's quite shocking. Okay, this is all truth, not fear porn. Okay, if you want to bury your head in the sand and think it's all going to go away, fine. You want to do that, it's cool. Personally, I want to keep one eye on what's going on and then manage my own life and my own family with the other eye. Right. Okay. We've mentioned this 1, 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Yes. UK farm subsidies are transitioning from direct payments under the basic payment scheme, which is the BPS, which is being phased out by 2027. New schemes that pay for environmental and other public goods. So we are seeing a massive kick in the nuts for farmers. Since 2024, payments have been delinked, meaning they are no longer tied actively farming the land. So the subsidies and the money that farmers were getting from government is over, or it's being phased out very, very quickly. All right. And they are literally going to be putting the money into, look at this, money from the phase out of BPS is being redirected to fund for new environmental schemes. And let me tell you this, boys and girls, environmental schemes has nothing to do with farming. Have you heard the term rewilding? Where lots of really good quality farmland, which has been used hundreds of years throughout the generations all the way across the UK, these farmers raise children and they take over, etc., and it goes on for hundreds of years. They know their lands more than anyone will ever do. Okay, and the quality of the produce that they do turn out is second to none here in the UK, especially when you consider all of the hideous, heinous restrictions passed on by government regarding vaccinations of cattle, pesticides, and all of that nonsense, disgusting, poisonous stuff. Okay, they are literally trying their best. But when you factor in just how bad it's got for farmers, okay, what sort of impact do you think this financial squeeze is doing to farmers? Bearing in mind, these farmers have been literally farming their lands for hundreds of years. Well, this isn't very pretty, boys and girls. And I'm not even sure if I can say the words, but I'm going to show it on the screen. But this is the truth of what's going on. And I suspect the numbers, which I'm going to show, are a lot higher than what is currently stated. Okay. Mental health in farming communities. And that word there, which I don't think I can say on YouTube. The current state of mental health in farming. A recent Farm Safety Foundation survey of 750 farmers, okay, that's a drop in the ocean of how many farmers are in the UK, right, show that 91% rank poor mental health as an issue. Just in Yorkshire alone, found that 42% had experienced stress and anxiety during the past 12 months. Many farmers say they feel a sense of stigma and embarrassment when it comes to sharing such problems, so it's likely that these figures are significantly underreported. I categorically concur with that statement 100%, especially from what I've been privy to in the area where I live. Not all farmers are reporting this and talking about it, but it's known within farming communities all over the UK. I would doubt very much we would know the true figure, but it's going to be a lot higher than what any report is going to state publicly, just as a point of note there. The farming and agricultural community are also at an elevated risk of that. In 2023, the British Association for Counselling and Psychology reported that every week, 3 people in the UK farming and agricultural industry die by that word. So 2 years ago, it was reported, and don't forget, it's going to be higher than the report says, 3 farmers every week are no longer here because of that word. That word, deaths among farmers, have increased year on year between 2021 and 2023. So what issues are the farmers facing? Well, the NFU said that it found out that 68% said spiraling input costs hurt their mental health. This is exactly what we're talking about. Alongside this, nearly half said rural crime impacted their well-being. So there's not enough money. They can't do what they want to do. They need to do to feed us as a nation and secure their livelihood and land for their future generations. And we're talking about theft as well. And one of the reasons, like we say about theft, is it's a knock-on effect. When people are poor, they're scared, they're struggling, they are going to turn to crime at some point. Everyone will have that moral dilemma to face before they decide to participate in any criminal activities. And we're talking about good, usually law-abiding citizens, you know, people who obey the rules, pay their taxes, drive under the speed limits. At some point, when push comes to shove, they are literally going to be forced into doing some sort of crime just to make sure that they can put food on their table for their families and keep a roof over their head. People, when they backed into a corner, they will do what they need to do to survive, pure and simple. At that point, the law doesn't mean jack shit to these people. Okay, and unfortunately, I feel that we are all going to, at some point in time, face that moral dilemma of, should I shoplift because of literally nothing? Okay, it's one of a good, solid, foundational reason for becoming a prepper. Okay, you think ahead, and you can literally give yourself options. So don't forget to stay tuned into the live stream. Like I said, it's really important. We got some stuff which I think is going to really help with all of this doom out there. Okay. Right, let me have a drink. So, like I said, the ONS, in my opinion, is a lot of bollocks. It's so under statted with statistics. Okay, look at this from the ONS again, which is a government think tank, by the way, a private company funded, paid for by sinister organizations. One day, if you want, I'll expose that. All right, and we'll see what's really behind the ONS. Like I've exposed lots of key players over the last 4 years. Just watch my live streams and you'll see what I mean. Some of my veteran viewers will know exactly what I'm talking about. In the year ending June 2025, the overall headline crime England and Wales was statistically unchanged at around 9.3 million incidences. So according to the ONS, by June this year, crime in the UK didn't go up or down. What do you think? Be honest. Tell me in the comment section. What do you think? Or let me know live right now. What do you think? From what you see. Now, I'm guessing that most of you guys are in urban environments. So you're going to understand crime a lot more than people like myself who have bugged out and live right out in the mountains away from all of the madness. You guys are going to know firsthand whether that is bullshit. Okay, look, it's most common crimes in the UK are fraud. So we're basically going to be looking at lots of stuff will be online, I would say. Look at that, 3.5 million incidences. This was in 2023. Theft, 2.6 million incidences. Violent crime, no, they're too scared. Computer misuse, nope. Vehicle offences, zilch. Recent trends end in June this year. Fraud was up 14%, primarily due to a 19% increase in bank and credit account fraud. Well, this is what happens when people are desperate. They are going to try anything they can to get money or food. So it's no wonder that fraud's gone up. Computer misuse apparently has gone down. Oh, really? Me and Scott got hacked this year. Yeah, for truth. And that's just 2 YouTubers. So how many people do you know who have been hacked in the last 12 months? A lot more than people would realize. Homicides apparently have gone down. Wow. And it's been the lowest since 2003. I call this the biggest slice of bullshit cake to come out of the ONS for a son of a bitch long time. Oh my God. Are you seriously trying to convince the UK public that homicides have gone down and it's been the lowest in 22 years? Are you pulling my chain? Let me know what you guys think of this. All right. And if any of you really believe every single thing that comes out of the ONS, I think you should unsubscribe and watch other videos myself. You don't deserve to be in this community. Not a chance. Clear, straight, pure bullshit, just like the BBC. And this is another killer. Look at this. Pardon the pun. No pun intended there. Knife and firearms offences have gone down by 5 and 16%. Wow. So look at that. In 2025, right? Knife crime has gone down 16%. Really? I'd say it's gone up 40%. Shoplifting has increased by 13. No. I would say shoplifting has increased by 50% at least. Theft from the person increased by 5%. No, that's up, I would say. Robbery has decreased. Oh my God. Honestly, I just can't believe I can't suck up that crap anymore. Unbelievable. So, crime, the Office of National Statistics, complete BS. 100%. 100%. So, from what we're picking up around the UK, right, from social media, for people actually recording crime, and yes, AI is creeping into fake videos and stuff, but you can still, at this moment in time, which is the 11th of November 2025, you can still just about tell what's real and what's AI fake. All right. It's getting harder now, I admit. But in most cases on social media, you know which is real footage and which is BS, AI, fake footage. Violent crime, 100% gone up. Gang crime has gone up. Okay. Especially with the younger generation. Knife crime has gone up. Sex offences and crimes and gangs and grooming, all of that's gone up as well. Okay. Vandalism, 100% has gone up. Homelessness, lots of people have lost their homes and now living on the streets. And, you know, for no fault of their own. Okay. Hope to God that we all don't end up on the streets if Klaus Schwab has his way, where we'll own nothing and we'll be happy. Redundancy, people being laid off work, etc. That's gone up as well. Okay. Theft, of course, theft's gone up. Shoplifting, motoring offences have gone up, mainly due to all of these cameras, which we're going to show in a sec. In fact, let me see if I can. Here it is. Let me just drag that there. Well, Rachel, darling, do you remember when we was in England and we saw these cameras? Remember? Wow. These, let me know if you have seen any of these new speed cameras cropping up in the UK. These new ones, okay, I don't know if you can see them because every time I click on it, it goes into all that BS cookies and I don't do it. We've all seen these average speed cameras. No, not these ones. These ones on brand new, shiny, big, thick yellow poles with 2 cameras on the top and 2 black box devices on the side. Okay. These are new AI low light speed cameras. Okay. Now, I would say, I would like to put out there that I believe that these could have AI face recognition technologies within these cameras so they can actually see the person's identity and face through the screen, matching it with the ANPR number plate recognition system to see if the owner is the driver, whether they're on their phone, whether they're wearing a seatbelt, etc. Okay, these new cameras are popping up everywhere. Let me know, guys, if you are seeing these great big cameras. These ones here. Oh, yep. I am not going to pay and I'm not going to accept, so go and do one. So if that wasn't bad enough, what else have we got going on here in the UK? This is all latest update stuff. Okay, new news. Right. Okay. The UK's NHS is facing immense pressure, leading to widespread reports of chaos. I've seen it firsthand and recent too. Within the last 2 months, I have been in A&E and I have witnessed crime, arguments, shouting, people being put in corridors. It's just horrendous. People being put in fit to sit, which effectively takes you off of any counting system. So the numbers are going to be way higher than that trust dares report publicly. But the truth is, it's bad, guys. It's frigging really bad in hospital, particularly concerning long wait times in emergency departments and for planned care too. Contributing factors: increased demand, a growing population. Now I'm going to leave it to you guys to work out exactly what I mean by a growing population. Okay, emergency department strain, and they have called it corridor care. Yes, they've even got a name for it now. Wait hours or even days in corridors. Okay, non-clinical areas, in waiting rooms. Yep. Honestly, people are collapsing in the waiting rooms. All right. We've all heard these stories. And some of you watching right now can 100% back up what I'm saying, because there's always going to be that prick who's going to comment to saying, oh, you're fear porn, you're over dramatizing it. Listen, read the comments and look at the live chat replay and you'll see what I'm saying. There's people out there right now who have experienced this. Don't call me a fear porn lunatic. This is factual. This is true. Read the freaking comments. Long waiting lists as well. Record highs. Emergency departments face significant delays. Ambulance delays. Recently, I had to wait 2 hours in an ambulance outside. And that was a short time. Some people have a lot longer than that. Some people wait 6 hours just to get an ambulance, or even longer. It's basically horrendous, okay? And we're not going to go into it because we're going to go into pure rant mode. And we're going to be here all friggin' night, okay? So going back to what's been going on with people shoplifting because people are skint, have a look at what's been going on. Tesco's, look at this. 2025 to 2026, it's just been a full year adjustment, okay? They reckon Tesco are going to be between 2.9 and 3.1 billion pound in profit. In profit. So with all of the shoplifting going on in Tesco's, Aldi, Lidl, Marks and Spencer's, wherever it is, okay, look how much profit Tesco is still making despite all of this crazy stuff. Look, a 5-year record. All right. So basically what you're doing is, well, sorry, what Tesco's is doing is basically they are primarily running as a business to satisfy their shareholders. Okay. So all of the profit they make, dividends, shareholders get their big slice of the pie because of all of the money that they're pumping to Tesco's to get shares. Now, I'll tell you something that's quite interesting. Since 2020, and like I keep saying, 2020 is such a pivotal year in 21st century history. It's unbelievable. And years to come. If this information can be kept secure and not modified and altered by AI, great. If any of you guys are downloading my videos and keeping them, keep them safe. All right. I've also I've got a channel on Odyssey. Every time I upload a video, this channel gets mirrored onto Odyssey. Every video I've ever done is on Odyssey. So if anything happens to this channel, you can always go there. And there's a link under this video to Funky Talks. It's my backup channel and all of that. Anyway, Tesco, shareholders, 2020. Everything went expensive, didn't they? Do you remember food going crazy since 2020? Wow, look at this. There's 2020 right there. Look at the price of the shares in Tesco's going up and up and up and up. So, and it's at an all-time high right now. It's at an all-time high right now. Crazy. Yeah, he looks like a person you can trust. I'm not joking. I think most CEOs are psychopaths. They really are. Don't give a shit about people. They're just interested in greed and power. End of. A different kind of breed of arsehole, I'm sure you'd agree. So Tesco, look at that. Whoop. Massive gains since 2020. That's why everything's getting expensive, because whatever profits Tesco get, they've always got to make sure that their shareholders get the same amount or more every year. Okay, that's why the prices of all of the stuff in Tesco's are going up, to satisfy their shareholders and to compensate from the theft that's going on. Okay, so if you think all of that's bad with money and stuff, I've said this, I'm thinking about 4 live streams in the last 3 years about this. Okay, police in the UK, look at this. UK police recruitment isn't a simple failure. While the government met its 20,000 officer target in England and Wales, some forces are still struggling with recruitment. Key issues include a shrinking pool of qualified applicants due to public perception, low pay and high attrition, as well as vetting process challenges. We'll look at the vetting process in a minute. You're going to laugh, especially for forces like the Met, which missed its recent target due to factors including its reputation. Not surprised. Look at this. This only come out last month. Look, about 300 new recruits may have substandard or no vetting to see if they have criminal convictions. Wow. So basically, they are literally fast-tracking police officers because no one wants to be one. In fact, if you want a bit of a laugh, we're going to look at this. I can believe it myself. Okay, this is a job application for a police officer. Oh my God, look at this. A police constable in 2026, so starting from next year. Okay, this happens to be in North Wales, the safest place to live. Really? This is your opportunity to help make North Wales the safest place to live in the UK. Oh my God, are you pulling my chain? Look at this, a starting salary of 29k. 29 grand to put up with all of that crap. And of course, we all know about the generous pension scheme. Now, let me tell you this. If this pension scheme wasn't so generous, I would literally guess that half of every serving UK police officer over the last 5 years would have left already. They are just hanging on to get their greedy little pension scheme. And then they're out of there. Okay? That's just absolutely bonkers. Who would literally want to put their life on the line with the stupid laws that they can't do this and they can't do that for 29k? Mate, back in 2012, I was earning 50 grand a year as a contractor. So what we 15 or so years later, less money, more stress. No wonder people aren't going to join the police. So, and like I said, I used to know 5 police officers. All right. I have a feeling only one of them is still serving. The other 4 have left. And this was in the last 3 years. In 3 years. Yeah. No joke. I'm not joking. I'm not making it up. And the last guy I haven't spoke to for at least a year and a half, so I don't even know if he's still serving now. But look at this, the police are leaving, and I'm not making this up. Look, even the AI, the artificial idiot overview says, yes, police officers are leaving the UK police force, with a recent report stating 8,795 officers left England and Wales in the last financial year. Wow. Nearly 9,000 coppers just left. Look at this. For the year ending March in 2024, 9,000 officers left. And look at this, and 5,000 voluntary resigning. And they're blaming low pay and morale, workload issues. Over 86% of officers report there aren't enough staff to meet demand. Okay, crime is going through the roof. We've got a lot of tourists in the UK now, and there is not enough police, trained, qualified, fit police, clever police to deal with it. It is absolutely broken, people. Concerns for new officers. A significant percentage of resignations, 70%, come from officers with less than 5 years service. So police that have only been working for under 5 years, 70% of them have resigned already. Holy shit. That's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Right, let me just close all that down. So, okay, thanks for staying to the end of the live stream, because now I'm going to reveal an idea which I've come up with myself, which I think could work. Now, it's only going to work if lots of people get on this. Now, I don't know if anyone else has come up with this idea. I don't know if anyone else has put it out online, but one of the key cornerstones for any prepper anywhere in the world is to make sure that they've got a minimum, and I'm talking a minimum of 3 months worth of food for their family in their household. A minimum of 3 months. Most people, preppers who have been doing it for as long as I've, can extend that to a whole year's worth of food. Okay, foods that don't perish, some tin products, rice, pasta, jarred foods, freeze dry foods. Okay, you know the drill. Okay, I've been saying this since 2012 now. All right, yes, long-term food storage. Okay, now what I'm thinking of as an idea, now we've got to put a caveat here. Okay, this is live action role play. All right, live action role play, that's all this is. But what we're talking about is, just imagine we get Christmas out of the way, because before you know it, people, Christmas is going to be here. Okay, so what I am thinking is, just imagine, I want you to imagine New Year's Eve. It's a blast. We see out the end of a crazy year as best we can. As from New Year's Day, we sell as much things as we can which we do not need. Okay, there's a difference between things that we want or things that we like and things that we actually need. Okay, so all of those ornaments, all of those CDs, all of those old tents or sleeping bags that you just don't use no more, you do not need them. Okay, how about, as an idea, everyone does whatever they can to sell as much as possible to make as much money as possible. With that money, make sure that everyone gets a minimum of 3 to 6 months worth of food and probably fuel for their vehicles for 3 to 6 months. Okay, starting from January. Now, the reason I say that is because what would happen theoretically on April Fool's Day, which is a very important day to the powers that be, lots of laws, lots of regulations, lots of things reset and change from April Fool's Day. Now, what would happen from April Fool's Day all over the Western world? Everyone stays at home. Everyone stays at home. Everyone at that point from April Fool's Day will already have 3 or more months worth of food and fuel, so they can just stay at home. Okay, what about if everyone said, screw paying all the bills? Solid. What would happen? There is not enough police to go around and arrest everyone. The prisons are already full. Okay, even in I think it's a YouTube short. If you haven't seen my YouTube shorts, I'll put about 6 up today, and one of them is saying that the UK prisons are now full. They are full. There is no room at the inn, Gabriel. It's all full. Okay, so what would happen theoretically as a role-playing exercise from April the 1st? Lots and lots of people who want to take part in this game, scheme, exercise. Yeah, what about an exercise? Take part in this exercise, because that's what the authorities do, isn't it? 9/11, there was an exercise the same day. 7/7, there was an exercise the same day, etc., etc., etc. What about from April the 1st? Everyone in the West had 3 to 6 months or even more worth of food and fuel for their vehicles to just stay at home. Just stay at home. They've got everything they need. No one's going to cut their electric off. No one's going to cut their water off. And there's no more room at the prisons. And there's not enough police. What do you think would happen? That would send a very, very clear message to the powers that be that, nope, we are not taking part anymore. Okay? Interesting. It's up to you whether you want to get your internet cut off. That's a whole new discussion in itself. But what about if communities all the way across the Western world done this, and they all got together in local communities and united, all race, color, whatever, and they all started growing gardens? Now, one of the reasons why I think April Fool's Day is a good time to start is because that's around springtime, a good time to start planting gardens and food. Do you understand what I'm saying? What about community gardens, even in urban areas? Okay, there is going to be roundabouts, there is going to be parks, there is going to be balconies, there's going to be containers, raised beds. You can grow anything. Yeah. How about it? What do you think? Do you think that's going to work? Well, if it didn't work, one thing's for sure, it would send an absolute message to the powers that be. Because let me tell you this, the whole system relies on us working our nuts off and paying taxes. In fact, the UK is the highest tax country on earth. Yeah. I've done a live stream only recently. You can check back about within the last week or 2 weeks. The amount of millionaires that are leaving the UK is insane. And the reason why they're millionaires is because they are sick to death of paying tax. And they've had enough and they're off. One of the key places they're going to is Dubai. Dubai is absolutely flourishing right now. And there's all sorts of countries. Have a look at it yourself. Countries around the world has got low tax. Insane. The UK is in collapse. But I think, can you imagine it? Just close your eyes and imagine. You know, we're out of the winter, spring's here, all of the flowers, all of the blossom. It's a feel-good factor. All of the birds are singing again. The skies are blue. The sun comes out. People are in communities, sharing, being a community again. Okay. In fact, it might be a good idea to just literally let the internet just frigging don't pay it, because people will have to talk. They wouldn't be on their phones getting wound up and stressed out all of the time. People will be engaging with each other, talking with each other, making new friends, finding out who their neighbors are. It's crazy. I remember it in that, was it the Diamond or Golden Jubilee, whatever it was, a few years back? Yeah, everyone just mingled and having street parties, and people were finding out who they were. Oh, right, where do you live? Oh, I live at number so and so. Well, what do you do? Oh, I'm a banker, or whatever it is. It's great. It's fantastic. So one of the things which social media and mobile phones, smartphones have done is destroy communities. So if we all saved up food supplies to stay at home for, let's sod it, a whole year. Screw it. Why not? April to April, a whole 12 months. The whole of the West has gone on strike. Okay. The only thing which will probably need to continue will probably be essential services like fire, ambulance, that sort of thing. Okay. I mean, the police, they might as well frigging stay at home anyway, to be fair, from what I've seen. Okay. You're going to get arrested for talking like I do. And I did get arrested, by the way. Yep. 12 officers, tasers, Absolutely been a financial ruin. Stopped me working on YouTube for 4 months. Yeah, it's tough. But it happened to me, and it's happened to over 12,000 others in the UK. We're so taxed, crime is through the roof. The government haven't got a clue. They're doing as they're told. The police are struggling because of the laws that government are making are ridiculous. And of course, it's all an agenda. All you got to do is don't take part. Stay at home, chill. What's the worst thing that can happen? Can you really see millions and millions of people being arrested and put in prison? Don't think so. I really don't think so. So let me know what you think about that idea. As I say, it's just an idea. I don't think it's the be all and end all, but I think it's a big, strong message to those arseholes, and it's a start, isn't it? Because the thing is, when we're all at home for these 3-6 months plus, and we're not on the internet, we're talking, we can't be spied on, can we? Yeah. Do you remember when we used to go to pubs and talk? One of the reasons why pubs have been dismantled is because they can't monitor conversations. Everything's been forced online. Have you ever thought about that? Libraries are closing down. People would meet and talk quietly in libraries. Yeah, for a reason. So it'll be like freedom again. Going into a pub, going to the park, speaking to strangers without the distractions of their frigging stupid surveillance device phone. Communities will flourish, people will share ideas, and it will be a big finger to the powers that be. Oh. Oh, bro, I've just gone back into the chat. Paolo, my brother. Hey, dude, listen, I haven't been on Instagram for months and months and months. I've logged out of it, uninstalled it. So this country needs more people like you, brother. Oh, well, keep up the amazing work. May God watch over you and your family. Oh, mate, heartfelt, brother. I really appreciate that. Thank you, dude. I'm not joking, mate. that 20 quid minus the YouTube 40% is going to really help. I'm not joking. Appreciate that, brother. Really good to see you again as well. Oh, dear. Yeah, I know, Steve. Pubs are shutting. I know. They don't want pubs open because people can go in there and talk privately without being monitored. That's why. But there's always a way. What about the reopening of some pubs? And what about community centres? What about people go around each other's houses, neighbours, like they used to? You know, back in the day, you didn't lock your front door. No. What would happen is your key would be hanging underneath where the letterbox is. So you can pull the key out and let yourself in. Everyone knew each other. Everyone trusted each other. If there was one bad egg in the street, trust me, everyone knew about the bad egg. And that bad egg got frigging dealt with. The police didn't even know. It's called community. It's very similar to the way that travellers operate. They sort out their own shit. They don't grass and use the old bill. They don't. Okay, we need to go back to those times. Okay, if there's anyone dodgy in your street, trust me, they will get found out and dealt with without any need from some frigging woke police force. All right, that's how it needs to happen. Literally, I think David Icke said it. Whether you love him or hate him, I don't care. I don't agree with everything he says, but some of the things he said, I do agree with. And basically, some of the things that he's saying is, we just literally just don't comply. No. And what's the best way to not comply? In the comfort of your own home with 6 months worth of food, drink. And if you need to get out in a car or whatever it is to go and see loved ones, you've already got diesel and petrol in jerry cans. And that's not going to go off within 6 months, is it? Of course it's not, especially in the warmer months. So how about it? Start selling all your shit January. Most people sell stuff in January. It's not uncommon. What do people do? Facebook Marketplace, social media. You can forget eBay and Vinted. Unless you're going to sell stuff. You can sell stuff on eBay. The second it goes over £1,000, you've got to pay tax on it, which is the government. Honestly, the items that you've already paid for, that you're selling, you've already paid tax. So when you sell them, you've got to be taxed again. But guess what? Stick it up your kazoo. HMRC, how about ram it right up your clacker and say, no way, this country is being taxed to the hilt. And you know, one of the most main fundamental reasons, going back hundreds and thousands of years, actually, going back a long way, revolutions usually start because people have had it up to here with taxation. Well, guess what's happening? Yeah, people are pissed. People are really pissed in the UK that we are being screwed, squeezed every single way, financially and morally, emotionally, physically, mentally, the whole thing. We are being squeezed. Well, guess what? Just imagine it. Sell all your shit. I don't need half of this shit. Sell it. Get some money. With that money, go and get food. Go and get beans, rice, pasta. Go and get meat. Put it in the freezer before it gets friggin' too expensive. Then you got 3 to 6 months. You haven't got to go shopping again. It's all good. Don't go to work. Stick it. Yeah. No taxes. How would they do then? Anyway, it's just an idea. Like I said, thanks ever so much for you two making it to the end. If you can share this video, I would really appreciate it, because I might even do some shorts or a shorter video based upon the idea of how to stick it up their kazoot, because they've been sticking up our kazoot for a hell of a long time, haven't they? It's high time that we stood our ground and done something, because all of this moaning and whining ain't going to change shit. Actions speak louder than words. All right, actions speak louder than words. Let that sink in. We need to do something, and this is not violent. It's not against the law. It's not against the law to sit in your own house, is it? You're not breaking any laws. Don't worry. Sell shit, get some money, get food, stay at home, chill. Just live it 6 months. I wonder what would happen. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, thanks for all of the new subscribers. Make sure you hit the notification bell to make sure you're in with a chance of being in the live stream. Big dog, if you're reading this, you are the resistance. Yeah, damn straight, brother. 100%. Anyway, don't forget to like the video and share it too. Share it on WhatsApp and Facebook. It really goes a long way. You guys take care. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching and stay funky.